Welcome everyone to ITTF Equipment Video Conference. First of all, we would like to share with you one technical information that if you would like to ask any question, kindly ask you to click on Q&A, and at the end of the meeting, we will answer for, or we will try to answer for all questions. I will hand over to Claudia.
Thank you, AGM. Hello to everyone also from my side to the second equipment webinar inside the ITTF. Welcome to all over the world, wherever you are, and thanks for attending our webinar. I would like to hand over to an opening word to Dr. Ala Meshref.
Happy to see everyone participating in the equipment video conference, and I hope we give some good information to you, and we would be able to answer all your questions. We're happy to, you're gonna see how the work advanced in the equipment. We now have an equipment department together with the equipment committee. So we hope you enjoy the video conference and you get replies to all your questions. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ala, for your kind words, as usual. So also thank you for the very nice cooperation in the last year. It was a pleasure for all of us. In the last year in equipment, we worked a complete year in 2021 in short-term conditions to save costs, and also in Germany the lockdown was until May, so we were not allowed to travel. But finally we came up with a presentation here. We have no guests today. We will present only Carsten, Emige, and me this time to keep it a bit shorter than last time. I hope you will enjoy. Let's start. The agenda for today is we will start with our new T-Lab, followed by finances, a very short overview. Then the different areas in equipment, racket coverings, balls, tables, floorings, and nets will follow with the detailed points of approvals, projects, and also the outcome for 2022. And at the end, short others topics, and that's it for today. Yeah, last year we presented the mission in equipment, and we checked it again, and we can confirm the text, which is on the right side. And because of the lockdown, we thought a bit, how can we do the job or spend the time in a more internal way because of no allowance to travel and these kind of restrictions. So we focused on our project T-Lab, which we would like to present. This is the new logo, which the executive committee and Dr. Ala confirmed. T-Lab means testing and technology in table tennis. A lot of T's, and we would like to show you a video. 1 year is over, and today we would like to present the first ever ITTF T-Lab, which is really a huge, I think, news. Behind the T-Lab is the wish to increase our knowledge about equipment and about equipment's influence on the game. We need to have the products in hand, in-house. We need to work with them every day and not only to dispatch them to external labs. So this was the idea to open up our own ITTF lab. We continue the work with one external lab for rubbers, but in general I think to use another lab from other sports is not helpful. I think tennis has a lab in London, and also golf, for example, has a huge equipment testing lab in the US. But table tennis is unique. The equipment and the sport is completely different. And why shouldn't the ITTF have his own lab? From my point of view, there are only advantages because better knowledge, shorter delivery time to the brands, better profit, and sustainability is also better. So absolutely reasonable to open up a new ITTF lab. At the moment, we focused only on rubbers for the start of the lab. So we are able to measure all rubber questions, and we can authorize any rubber since August this year. Emige and Carsten are already approving rubbers for the different brands. So, for example, all new colors were approved in our lab. And we are measuring 5 parts. This is dimensions of the rubber, the gloss of the surface, the color, the thickness of the rubber, and the VOC. For the future, it will be hopefully some dynamic measurements about dynamic properties, but for the start, the authorization was more important for us. I think we had no difficulties. We changed it into positive parts because we used the time in the last year to work intensively on our internal skills, on the knowledge, on the devices, on the lab, to be prepared for the next year, 2022. So I think it was finally a good year, even we would like to go out now and test the things. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and the presentation of the new TLab. Behind the TLab were the thinking that we need a better knowledge what is explained. And what we did is Carsten received a lot of education from the different device suppliers. We had a huge ring test between Butterfly, Double Happiness, ESN, and the ASCAT set. This is the additional external lab, which we still continue to work with, to align all the different devices. This was successfully done over 2 months in the middle of the year. And for each step in this lab, you need to write procedural instructions. This is a basic demand on such kind of a lab. So Carsten did this in a very nice way. And the next step in the future will be hopefully to include dynamic properties. This is the future, I guess, and also the digitalization is part of the future. But we wanted to start here, and finally, I think, as described in the video, we are working since August this year, and everything is running fine. I think the companies are quite happy with this. We will continue with external labs if they have a special knowledge or if they have devices which are, for example, extremely expensive. In tables, for example, the testing from external labs regarding the safety is a need. We will continue like this. Financial report. Of course, from 2019, if we compare the figures above, you can see the income on the different equipment sections. The red one is the expenses to approve the products, and below the total income or profit. Of course, it's reduced around $100,000 US since 2019. But for a pandemic period, I guess we can be very happy with the equipment manufacturers and brands because the figures are still stable. And this was not to be expected. And we would like to say a huge thank you to all equipment brands worldwide who announce these products to us. The outview, we optimized in the last 2 years all our procedures inside the department. So updated all forms this year and a lot of different other things. So we are ready now, and we can say that it's now a professional running department regarding the procedures. So, which is really needed because we handle more than 2,000 products, and then procedures are quite important. Regarding the ITTF TLab, our calculation shows that we have a return of investment, hopefully in 2 years, latest, I guess, in 2.5 years. So the devices will run on, I guess, on 10 years, even more. So from the financial aspect, the TLab is a clear advantage for the ITTF. The next steps are the fee system and the blade approval. But of course, in pandemic times, we cannot work on the fee system. Would not be fair or the right timing for such kind of changes. Yeah, Racket coverings. I would like to hand over. No, it's my part. MJ will start. I would like to come to the after treatments. On Racket coverings, we mentioned this last year already. And still, we have the opinion that the ITTF has 4 responsibilities on this area. One is the fairness among players to ensure this. The second one is table tennis is part of the Agenda 21, and in the Agenda 21, there is written that no harmful substances should be used in equipment. And of course, it's very important to stay in the Olympic movement. The third one is that the sport development should stay in our hands. If we allow any after treatment on products, we give away the responsibility here from our point of view. And of course, we have the ITTF approval and authorization system. And also here, if we approve or authorize a product and then allow afterward any after treatment, I think it's not very logical and does not make sense. These are the 4 responsibilities. Why we measure the sickness in the topic after treatment, sometimes called boostering. The reason is every booster increases the sickness. This is a fact. So if we check the sickness on the top level, we at the same time check whether there's an after treatment, yes or no. And when you ask the question if the sickness is so important for the performance, then it's a difference between up to 10% if you are using a allowed 4mm rubber or a non-allowed, let's say 4.2, 4.4mm rubbers, then there is a huge distance. I think if you compare this Formula 1 with 5% difference, then the second car will come, I think, 1 round later to the target. And this is, I think, not very what we want. What we did this year is we improved our devices for the measurement of dismantled rubbers. We had the pilot phase in 2019, and now it was time to improve our devices because dismantled rubbers sometimes have buckling. They're a bit different compared to new rubbers. Here you can see one which is a Käfer device, a prototype developed from us, from a company which is specialized on thickness measurements. The second one is a plunge parallel steel plate with a new developed DHS device, and the steel plate on top of the rubber is there to get the buckling a bit down, or not a bit, to get it down. The third one is another company who is offering laser devices to measure the thickness, also specialists on this without touch. So you can see the laser on top of the rubber, and the laser measures the difference to the steel plate. Yeah, these devices are ready now. We are also ready with the URC, the Werner Turi, and also Thorsten Kühnet in the equipment committee. We have written a new procedure, but we were not ready to send it for the World Table Tennis Championships in Houston. But we are quite closed for the next year. Now Carsten will start a project to measure and to test the new devices together with external companies and to make sure that we can use them in future racket controls, yes or no. Yeah, when we think about what is proven already, then after the pilot phase, it's very obvious that some of the top players are cheating due to a change on the blade. So they send out a position in the blade or the top veneer, and then for the current racket control is not able to measure the thickness anymore. Werner Turi from URC attended this tournament in Tokyo, in Japan, and it's very obvious what we need to do. So the next step is that we will check the devices, whether we are able with the devices to measure the thickness on dismantled rubbers. And if we cannot, because it's a bit tricky, from my point of view, we should focus only on the blades because it's clear what the players are doing. And we need to dismantle and just look on the blade whether there's a change on the blade, yes or no, because it's already forbidden to do something on the blade. So this is the next step in 2022. Yeah, and then it will follow a rule change and of course a transition period so that the players and coaches and all the stakeholders can adapt to the new level. And from our point of view, as presented last year, we should educate racket control persons because equipment is tricky. You need knowledge to understand the differences. And our athletes are absolutely worth to have a really professional racket control. And we could offer to educate. Also here we had also discussions and good meetings with Werner Turi to educate racket controllers for the future racket control. Yeah, these were the points on pimple-in rubbers, and we also received finally two devices to measure after treatments on pimple-out rubbers. Here you can see one, which is really nice. It measures the friction on the table, on the top of the pimple. And if somebody has put a treatment on the pimple top, then it's very slippery, and the steel would go down into the red area or into the yellow area. Carsten went to a tournament in Italy last weekend. We checked it in the first round, but additional analysis must be done. But it's also a step forward to get devices here to be able to measure this, because I think worldwide there are some players who really does not like to lose against a racket, which is after treatment like this. Yeah, then these were the more quality part and project part, but also we wanted to upgrade our technical leaflets into modern manuals. This is the current front page of the technical leaflet for racket coverings. This will be the future one. We are ready here. Upload will be end of November, I guess. This is the overview part. This is the current internal part in the technical leaflet. In the future, we have 3 sections, at the end 4, but 3 which are important. The standards are describing the technical definitions for each equipment section. And we tried to change from text into graphics so that for the producers and for the labs, it's easier to find things. So the standard section is from the content absolutely not changed, because it must be BOD approved. And of course, we continue like this. Also, the testing section, we never had one in racket coverings in the technical leaflet. Now we will have one in the manual. And also this part, the devices, how we test, will be described in the testing, and it must be BOD approved. So the new manual, which will be uploaded, shows the current technical leaflet content. And the final part, we didn't have this, or in some parts in the technical leaflet, it's an approval annex, where we described the procedure, how to announce a product, also some approval informations, which can be changed by us, because I think it's more administrative information and no technical decisions which influences table tennis. This is how the new document will look like. We are happy to be ready here. And now I would like to hand over to Emge.
Thank you, Claudia. First, let's see the numbers from the past years. We can see that from 1st of October, we have in total 1,585 rubbers on the LARC list. Yes, it's a little bit less than it was before, but we expected a small decrease due to the pandemic. For example, some breads with few rubbers could not continue the production and had to remove their rubbers. But there is some forecast which shows that we can again have more rubbers in the next LARC, which will be published on 1st of January 2022. This is the first year when we publish LARC 4 times, so this is also very interesting year because of it. About the new colors, from 1st of October, again, we have 51 new colored rubbers added to the LARC. It's possible now to add 4 additional colors to the LARC next to the 2 traditional colors, which is the black and red, and the new ones are the blue, green, pink, purple, and violet. So this also was a very good step and very excited also for us to work on it. And we are really sure that the number will also increase here very soon and very fast. So we could start to do the test in our lab from this summer. We have already done more than 100 tests, plus of course the ring test before we started to work on the official tests. We could also start to do the retest this year. We focus on pimple out rubbers, which is a little bit special because of the possible tool abrasion. And of course, that based on our experiences, the new tolerances will be integrated into the manual in 2022. About the outlook, I would like to say again, thank you to our IT department that we could start our ITTF equipment website 1 year ago. And the next step will be that we would like to add photos to our products. Regarding the Racket coverings, it means that the artworks will be replaced by the nice and professional photos. And our next big step would be to manage and set up the app, which also could help, for example, to get the daily approval also for Racket coverings in the future. Okay, I would like to continue with the balls. This is my next area. You can see also the numbers here. There is not a big difference between the numbers from the last years. There is a small decrease, and the reason of this was the removal of the celluloid balls. So we are really, really happy that the brands could continue with the ball production. We also could continue the retest regarding the balls. The last years we did not continue because also we would have liked to protect a little bit the brands in pandemic time. So now we will have more balls for retesting, approximately 30. This we are working constantly on it. And there will be two bigger groups of the ball. One is where there are the balls which already have failed once or twice and already have been published on the list. The second group is which just waiting for the normal approval. Here also the tolerances has been proposed for the BOD. And last but not least, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Torsten Kühnert for his really, really big and very helpful cooperation and continued support. Thank you very much. I'd like to hand over to Karsten.
Thanks, Emege, and hi everybody also from my side. I will talk about floorings and show you the figures. Here we made some huge increasement in flooring approval by 4 floorings in this year, and we have still 4 additional floorings under approval. So we will at the end have 8 floorings more on our published lists. This could be the reason that we opened up the flooring also for new colors like the black one, for example, for WTT. To ensure that we have more knowledge in our mind and also in our department, we have collected all of our approved floorings and to have them in the hand to make some testings. And this is how it looks, to do some testing with players to see the comparison between the technical part of our measurements and the players' feedback, so the subjective one. What will be in the future? We will visit in the next year our ITTF cooperation lab in France. And here again, we will also publish some photos on our website to show how colorful floorings are. And comparable to our visit to the lab and also to improve our procedures there, we had in the last test reports and with tested products, we had some floorings who were outside of our ranges. And that's why we think that there is a need of updating our technical leaflet in some points of the technical data. And last point is that we are thinking of an approval of permanent floorings to expand our product range and also to answer to some requests of brands and manufacturers. Here, I would like to thanks to Tsushi-san for his work and for the last year for his support. Now the change to the net section. The net section is a little bit shorter one. The figures show that we have an increasement by 5 nets in the last year. And here we also would like to publish the photos, also to see the diversity of the net combination between the posts and the net meshes can be. So this is our aim for the next year. And here I would like to thanks to Phil for his support in the last year for cooperation. Thanks, Phil. Now the biggest part is the table part. Here the figures of the last years. We had 154 in 2019, 159 in 2020. And now we are having approvals of 167 tables. So that's a huge increasement. And there are still 2 tables under approval. We are also happy to say that we have some new brands, totally new brands in our product range, and that we opened up our color range to new colors, for example, black color or gray color. And what Claudia has introduced at the beginning was that we changed and improved our optimizing procedure. And this helps us a lot to reduce the approval times, so that from the beginning of the request of the application over the testing until the final approval, that we are so smooth and much faster. Here again, we are in the work of transfer the technical leaflet into the modern manual. And here I will show you, like Claudia did before, some look into our structure. This is the technical leaflet. What is the current one? The introduction paper. And this is the table manual main page. And here we have the agenda for this table manual. Next slide is again the older one, the current one, the technical leaflet, and here the new one, how it should look like, how the structure for the next session. This is just a short look, and we will proceed here and work on this together. Next part in sport development is our B-board project, or our ball bounce on table project. And we, in the past months, in the last month, and also in the last year, we have collected almost all ITTF approved table samples and measured them to give them a value. And we also asked players and coaches to get their opinion, how important the project is for them, for the players. And of course, the final step is, and the final step was, that we aligned the device and also the method with our FIT working group. And the planning for the next year is to implement a change, but we are still not ready here. To develop our quality, also our knowledge and also our procedure, we had a visit at TÜV Thüringen at one of our laboratory here in Germany. And together with them, we talked about the forms and the procedure, and we tried to upgrade them. They are already upgraded on our website. We check complete testing also to understand how it works. And of course, we discuss further improvements. And the next step, of course, in the next year would be to align also with our Chinese lab, to visit them and to speak also with them. The outlook, here again, we will publish and update some photos of our website to the current standards. And we are thinking, because it's an untouched area, to publish or to approve leisure or school tables in the future. And here I would like to thank Paul for his cooperation and support. And now I would like to hand over to Claudia.
Yeah, thank you to Carsten and Amisha, to both of them. Great. I'm really happy to have them in the team. The work together in the last 2 or 3 years was really fantastic. And so thank you both for the very good job. Also, I would like to thank the equipment committee for the stable support in product questions. And the last topic which Carsten mentioned, the ball bounce on table, is an open resolution from Brazil about the friction of table surfaces, which leads into different bounces of balls on different table tops. So we think that it's an important project, and it's a huge need to change something. So we have a very strong opinion to change something here, but we would like to change only if we are ready with all scientific research on the project. So we will come back next year from our side. Yeah. One of the last ones is material liberalization in blades, means to open the current range of 85% wood and 15% other materials to perhaps in first 1 or 2 steps to a different percentage between both, and in a future step, perhaps in a complete or part opening of materials. And in this project, we run the patent research. We received the results already, and we need to analyze them now. the second part is we find a science partner to ensure our theory about the impact of wooden blades, the current ones which are used in table tennis, on our game. We have a very stable theory from our point of view, but we would like to ensure this one final time. And then the outlook for the next 1 or 2 years is a final insurance of the blade impact, a technical definition for opening in steps, because of course you can imagine it's not so easy. It must be done in a proper way. And finally, at the end, we need to define an approval system to include the blade section into the ITTF equipment section. Yeah, the last project is the raise of the net height. It's a resolution from Switzerland. I think it's absolutely worth to analyze. Completely agree with the votings. The digital solution to measure the impact of such a race is now founded. It's a digital solution offered by one company in the last year. And we started to discuss the right test setup, because we need to test this over a longer period. We need to find the right players, because normal top athletes will not test on a net, for example, with 1 centimeter higher net. But I think we have some solutions in our mind. So the next step is project planning, realization, and to make a proper analysis here. Yeah, the FIT working groups. This is the Federation of the International Table Tennis Manufacturers. We have working groups for every section to work with the industry. Sometimes we get complaints that we are too close, but I can promise to you that we are really have a very good understanding about the role of the ITTF, and we must always be independent. But the knowledge is inside the industry in a lot of things, so we need them as partners. But we will make, as described, final decisions on our own. But thank you to all partners which worked and offered really a lot of resources to our projects, and the cooperation was really fantastic. Yeah, finally, I would like to hand over to Steve, our group CEO. Steve, would you like to comment our work from this year?
Hi, everybody, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be in the world at the moment. Yeah, just firstly, congratulations for the presentation, Claudia and the team there, and very concise, very efficient presentation, and that's how we like to see the things, with all the work shown in a very good amount of time. I'm very happy to see the work done in the equipment department. When we first started this journey with Claudia a couple of years ago, we really felt that we wanted to further professionalize this area, and it was one area that was a little bit left behind. And I think just to see the work today is really even incredible, sitting here in Singapore and seeing all the new things that you have happening over there. I mean, the growth of the lab, the opening of the lab a couple of years ago, and now even as you do more and more inside the equipment department. Seeing that own lab and the internal knowledge that you're now bringing to the ITTF, I think is super important. The more internal knowledge we have about all the different areas that we're involved in is crucial. And equipment, of course, is one of those keys. The new technology, the new equipment that you have there, it's going to bring a lot of information that's important for us to develop these in this equipment area. I'm happy to see the improved documents. You know, it was something that we discussed for some time, so that was really fantastic to see. And then the T Lab with the branding, it looks really nice. I guess for the future, we hope to be able to do even more. I guess the next phase in the next few years will be bringing the playing field and the lab and the equipment pieces all together, so that we can, for example, as you discussed about the net, have a better understanding how all of the pieces interact with each other in a really holistic way. And that will help us to understand even more simply, what changes we can make to the sport to improve the overall product. So in the end, I just want to say congratulations. I want to also say thank you to all the manufacturers out there, especially during this pandemic period, as Claudia mentioned earlier, for the patience, but to continue to produce high level and top quality products for our sport. A huge thanks to your team there, Claudia, Carsten, Emershay, and your leadership. And we hope and expect, Claudia, that no matter what is your next phase in the table tennis world, that you will continue to do wonderful things for our sport. A huge thanks to the equipment committee, and I think it goes a long way to say a huge thanks also to the equipment committee chair, Mr. Paul Schiltz, who is finishing his term and finishing his time as the chairman of the equipment committee this time. He has been with the ITTF for a really long time. He has brought amazing knowledge over the years in a different ITTF world. Let's be fair and honest like that. But we really would like to thank him for the heavy work that he had done before we started to even have the lab and all the professional parts there. So a huge thank you to you, Paul. Keep up the good work there in Germany. And as I said, Claudia, I hope no matter what is your next phase, please continue to support us in this area, because it's a really important one. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Steve, for the very kind words and also the description of the future of equipment inside the ITTF, this holistic view and to get more knowledge inside the ITTF. It's absolute also my opinion. We would like also to thank you for the really good support when we had questions or we needed support at any time. It was always, we were always able to contact you. So thank you very much for this. We appreciate it absolutely. And also you can be sure that I will always be close to the ITTF and to my colleagues and the executive committee and the delegates. There are a lot of friends after 3 years, so it will be continued wherever I am. Thank you very much to all of you. So we would say goodbye and have a nice evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Hope to see you soon in Houston. Goodbye.